listening to the Dreaming of Freedom podcast on the 2 Cents FC network.
All right, welcome back to the Dreaming of Freedom podcast, where we talk about all things black soccer in MLS. I'm Jermaine.
And I'm Callie, and we are members of Black Herons United, an independent black supporters group for Inter Miami and all things black soccer in South Florida. And for episode 18, we'll be covering Matchdays 20 and 21, where we'll highlight Columbus and Austin in our teams of the week, our dream team selection with Bobby Wood, Sam Adeniran, and Hany Mukhtar, who continues to ball out, and of course our Footnotes segment, where we will follow Kei Kamara on his record-breaking season. So stay tuned to catch it all.
All right, Callie, what's going on? I guess AD will hop on shortly. But until then, how you doing? The MLS All-Star roster just dropped. I don't know if you have had any time to check it out. How's it going?
Well, I'm good. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to be here. I'm really excited to dive into what we're getting into today. And yeah, MLS All-Star roster is out. A lot of good stuff on there. A lot of stuff that we know the Cultureverse will appreciate. But there are a few snubs, a couple of question marks that I personally have questions about. But
for sure. Yeah, I mean, I guess first of all, let's quickly go through the MLS All-Star roster. Of course, it was 26 players. Starting, just to be clear, there's 12 players selected, or voted in rather, by fans, media, and players. 12 players selected by Wayne Rooney, who's the head coach for the All-Star team, and then 2 players selected by the commissioner, Don Garber. So for the forwards and the wingers, we have Christian Benteke, Dennis Bouanga, Christian Espinoza, Jesus Ferreira, Giorgos
Giacomakis.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you take that one, bro. Kei Kamara, who, as you heard, we'll talk about towards the end of the episode for our Footnotes segment, and Jordan Morris. Callie, who's in the midfielders?
For the midfielders, we have Luchi Acosta, Thiago Almeida, Mateu this one's a tough one, you Canadians. Shinari, our boy HH, Hector Herrera, Jose Martinez, Aiden Morris, of course, Hany Mukhtar, inevitable, Ricky Puig, and another one having a fantastic season, Lucas Zelarayan.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's some well-deserved picks, definitely. Yeah. And then to wrap it up in the defenders, we have Alvaro Barrial, John Gallagher, Ryan Hollinshead, Matt Miazga, Tim Parker, John Tolkien, and Walker Zimmerman. And for the goalkeepers, we definitely got to talk about this: Roman Berkey, Tyler Miller, and Georgi Petrovic. And of course the coach is Wayne Rooney. So Callie, how you feeling about that roster? I mean, obviously there are some well-deserved picks, but there seems to be some very glaring snubs as well.
Yeah, so I'd say 90% of the roster I'm cool with. Benteke having a fantastic year, obviously. Kei Kamara, he's in that 100 club, strongly solidified as the third, absolutely. That man needs his flowers. Third all-time in goals scored for MLS. He played, just to put in the perspective of time, he played for the Kansas City Wizards.
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of these guys were inevitable. Like Benteke, Bouanga. We know Kei Kamara. Thiago Almeida was obviously a guy. Hany, Zelarayan. These guys were no doubters, right? But I think the biggest glaring omission is at the goalkeeper position, man. Roman Berkey, which fine, St. Louis, one of the hottest teams in the league. Tyler Miller, I think he just got the DC nod there since he's on the local club, and then Georgi Petrovic, I can justify a little bit, but how is our boy Andre Blake not on this list,
bruh? And he is not the only Jamaican that is missing from this list, bro.
Nope.
I mean,
our very own head of state.
The General. Yo, how is Davian Lowe and Andre Blake not making this roster. I'm not sure what's going on here. And apparently a couple people had the same feeling, particularly about Andre Blake on the Twitters and the socials. Andre Blake is a glaring miss. Also, Carlos Hill from New England. He was kind of the most, I guess, high profile midfielder that was off the list. But Andre Blake, Damian Lowe, 2 picks we wish we would have saw on the MLS roster.
Yeah, the what? And I'm looking at the defenders now. Like John Gallagher, I get he's leading Austin in goals as a defender, which is fantastic. That's amazing. Ryan Hollinghead, he's established as one of the best defenders in the league. Tim Parker is playing out of his mind, kind of found a new life with St. Louis, and then Walker Zimmerman, obviously the U.S. national ties. But you're gonna tell me that John Tolkien, Matt Miyazaga, and Alvaro Barreal are all more deserving? Barreal probably, but you think you think all those other guys are more deserving than Damian Lowe? I don't know, man. Damian Lowe has been, and it's crazy because he went into Philly as basically a backup option, but dude's getting a lot of burn. He's scoring goals.
Oh yes, he had a goal. He had a goal in the U.S. Jamaica game, right? First game of the Gold Cup.
Yep.
Right. He also was playing on. Then I speak. Oh, wait a minute. Oh Lord.
Oh no, not yet.
Wait a minute. Is this who we think it is? Javon, is that you? We'll let Javon come on.
He needs to marinate. He needs to cook a little bit. And
but so I mean we had Damian Lowe had a great performance, right, with that in that U.S. game. It was a little shaky at first, right? He came out with that quick yellow card, but
that's Damian we know and love.
In true Damian Lowe fashion.
But Jermaine, the one that I'm ready to flip tables for is my boy. And I've been on him. Our man Jeremy Ababasi getting left off.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
dude,
that one hurt.
That one hurt.
And I will say that his teammate Christian Espinoza is actually also having a fantastic season. So I think one of the issues for me, Callie, is this is the selection process. I mean, do you have any issues with the selection process, or do you think it's on point how it is?
So I know it's maybe people who experience football from a European standpoint and only a European standpoint are probably unsure of how American All-Star games and such probably works. There's always kind of like the hometown guy that makes it because the town is hosting, and people are saying that's how Tyler Miller got on, how Benteke got on, and stuff like that. Though Benteke, I definitely think he earned it. But the commissioner picks are weird. Although I love Kai getting on there, and I love that that got him on there. But I don't know, man. It's weird. MLS does everything weird, and the All-Star Game is definitely no exception.
All right, so that's the MLS roster. Again, the black players that we're definitely celebrating and excited about is of course Benteke, Bouanga, Kei Kamara, Jose Martinez, who had an absolute banger a few match days ago, and of course Hany Mukhtar, who we'll talk about in our Dream Team segment. So for the weekly roundups, let's talk about match days 20 and 21. Kind of do a little combo. We just wanted to focus on 2 teams, one from the East, one from the West. The first team being Columbus Crew. Callie, Columbus Crew is looking nice. I mean, they've historically looked nice in the past, but they have a new, of course, their new coach Wilfred Nancy is doing really good, right? I mean, undefeated in 5 straight games.
Yeah, I mean, and especially that team that kind of they were a little slow to get going, and I remember people were kind of losing their heads a little bit. But man, it's safe to say that they're one of the best teams in the league right now. Wilfred Nancy, Give that dude his flowers. He's been incredible, arguably the best coach in the league right now. And then obviously you have, guys like, Zelarayan and stuff like that are just, just playing outside of their brains right now. And they're such a fun team to watch, and they're a team right now that's just kind of scoring for fun. They're kind of doing whatever they want to do. Remember how they absolutely pummeled our beloved Herons. So, Columbus is doing it, man.
Yeah, man. Everyone seems to be pummeling us. At the moment. AD, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Well, I'm just happy you're here, man.
Yeah, I'm just happy to see you, man. I'm just happy to see you, bro.
I'm glad you made it. I know you're fighting for your life a little bit.
I'm getting cooked on my own laptop.
Oh, no.
No good, bro.
It's your own that does it to you, man. It's your own that does it to you.
But, so, I mean, Columbus Crew is looking really nice. Another reason we wanted to, spotlight Columbus Crew is because 3 out of their 4 midfielders are black players, which you don't often see on a football team, right? A lot of those black players are kind of relegated to certain positions, whether it's the wings, defense, kind of maybe your main kind of hold up target man as a striker, but the midfield position has often kind of historically been reserved for those players that are characterized as leaders on the pitch, right? Intelligent players that can read the game, that have great vision, and so it's awesome to see Columbus with a core of black players kind of running that midfield. And specifically, we have Yayaboa, Darlington Nagbe. Shout out to Darlington Nagbe, who has had a fascinating MLS career, but also an even more interesting national team career. And Mo Farsi, who, interestingly enough, is coming from Canada. Had a fascinating kind of youth career in Canada. Played some indoor football, some futsal, I guess. And so he's made his way into MLS, and he's playing really well. He's solidified himself in that midfield. He's also Muslim, and he's recently talked about the new rule with MLS, allowing players to break their fast during Ramadan, right? So this is a brand new policy that the MLS has adopted, and players, Muslim players, of course, like Mo Farsi, have definitely appreciated this new policy. I think it's called the drinks break policy, and so MLS is just catching up with the rest of the football leagues around the world, but it's great to see that that the league is taking those steps. Right?
Yeah, and on Mo Farsi, they have a pretty cool profile on him on the Apple TV MLS Pass about his faith and stuff like that. They interviewed him in a mosque and everything, and he talked about how much his faith meant to him. And it wasn't just him. They talked to several Muslim players and fans and stuff like that. So really cool insight. I definitely encourage you guys to get on there and check that out.
All right, so for the team of the West, we definitely wanted to focus on Austin, who's just kind of rolling through these teams right now. 2 games in a row, they've won 3-0. So shout out to their defense, but also shout out to their goal scorers, and specifically Giassi Zardes, who again is kind of having one of those resurgent seasons. AD, how you feel about Zardes? Now I know we talked about Zardes in the past, probably a couple episodes ago, but Zardes is one of those players that I like him, but I don't know something. I don't know if it's the blonde mohawk, but
it might be the blonde mohawk.
I don't know.
He's a very polarizing player, but to me, I don't know. I just like him. I'm rooting for him. I'm mad to see him do it on Austin. I feel like Austin just gets everything right. Like Giassi has been like hot and cold on a bunch of teams, and then he hops on Austin and he just fits. And I'm like, Austin, can you do one? I mean, I don't want to wish ill will on a team, but man, they just do everything right.
Yeah, man. Austin has definitely, obviously one of the newer expansion clubs in recent years, and as AD said, they have gotten mostly everything right. Now, I will say there are some supporters from Austin that have, I'm not going to call out any names and get too personal, but they have called out Austin and their supporter culture for being quite racist and the like. So we definitely want to keep an eye on that. But in terms of their on-field performance, they seem to be doing the damn thing, and Giassi Zardes is definitely been a part of that. So again, he's one of those players, right? Like Bobby Wood, we'll talk about later, who just kind of we know the name, right? They've been relevant throughout past seasons, but they seem to be finding their home at these new teams, right? So Zardes seem to find a little comfort zone with Austin. Javon, can you hear us, bro, or not?
Blessings, everybody. Blessings.
It's kind of choppy on your end, bro.
But blessings anyway.
Right, but blessings regardless. So Javon, thank you for joining us. Big up to Javon, an OG Inter Miami supporter. He's always been here since day one. But man, Javon, what the hell is going on with Inter Miami, bro?
All right. Well, first let me start by saying, man, I appreciate you guys for having me on. You know what I mean? Boy, what is going on with Inter Miami, bro? I think the better question would be is what is going right with Inter Miami? Because at this point, apart from being the team that Messi is going to continue his career with, at this point, it's like, what are we known for, bro? Like, let's keep it 100. Like, what are we really known for, bro? In this game, it's like I said it in the group chat the other day, and it was funny. I'm like, at this point, Inter Miami is just like, it's almost like a money laundering scheme for the Moss brothers and Beckham, bro. Because it's like what's the purpose? We go out, we get beat every week, right? Not only do we get beat every week, but we play like crap most of the weeks, right? Now it's like, and bro, I don't wish injuries on anybody. Obviously, it must suck, but it's like now we got players dropping out like flies, and it's just chaos, bro. But hey, we got Messi though. Don't forget that we got Messi. So I don't know.
Most importantly, we got Messi. Yo. So what were your thoughts on Phil Neville during his time here? Because I think the point you keep making is that not only are we losing games, but we're not playing good ball, right? We don't look good on the pitch, right? So what were your thoughts on Phil Neville?
No, yeah, most definitely. And with Phil, it's a tough one because I'm a very fair person, right? And I will say that his whole scenario, I mean, bro, to be honest, this whole club from day one hasn't really been right at all, you feel me? So for Phil Neville, a guy at his level of inexperience coming in a situation like this, bro, like he was almost guaranteed to fail. You know what I mean? And it's like Phil the person, lovely guy, bro. He has a little bit of that, that English charm where it's like, you know what, like on a night out, I would like this guy. Like he's alright. But as a coach, it's like he didn't even know what he was doing, to be honest, bro. And it's like I said, it's no disrespect to anybody, but it's like even going to games, standing there and watching, you'd literally be left just wondering like yo, what's going on? It's like, what's going on? Like it literally looked like Phil's philosophy was going in the locker room and being like, all right, boys, go out there, play hard, play together, show lots of passion. And it's like, that's it. And it's like, yo. So, and it's not to say I don't even think Phil Neville will be a good coach in the future. It's not to say that, but for where we're at and our purpose, what we're doing, like, horrible decision in my opinion. Horrible decision to hire Phil Neville, but it's what it is.
Yeah, I mean the decision felt wrong from the jump, right? I mean, it just felt like one of Beckham's homeboys, and it just didn't feel right from the jump, right? He didn't have any MLS experience, he didn't have any club experience, right? The only experience he had was coming from the English women's national team, which he had, relative success, but not anything crazy to rave about. And now this man is in Canada, right? And I'm not sure. Okay, let me stop because Canada's winning now, but they were losing. They were losing at first. In the first half, they were down 1-0 to Guadeloupe. So that Phil Neville effect.
Hey, and listen, them winning, I have the game on TV right now. Them winning is not from the aspect of them actually playing good. Like the goal for them to go ahead was like literally a fluky own goal, bro. So, for everybody who hates Phil Neville, man, the Phil Neville curse. It's still well and truly alive. I mean, it's still on us because he left. We can't even buy a performance, much less a result. I'll take a draw at this point. Yeah, bro. Seeing us getting 1 point would be great.
But that's a struggle. Everything's a struggle with this club, bro. Especially with the field, especially with the on-field performances. Everything seems to come by quite difficult. So, Javon, you're pretty used to disappointment, particularly as an Arsenal supporter, right?
City.
But you must be excited about the new signings. You've already talked about Messi. I mean, how you feeling about the future of the club? I mean, obviously the past is the past, but how you feeling about the future of the club?
I'll say this, right? And obviously, us be lucky enough to be in the location that we're at. So, regardless of how good we are or not, it's not hard to convince a lot of guys to be like, yo, come live on, come live on the beaches and stuff like that. So, that being said, there is a prospect now to undo all of the wrong that we did before. But it's literally about, and it's like, I feel like now it's do or everybody gets fired. Like Chris Henderson, everybody, because like now sanctions is over. You got Messi coming in for, what was the details of it? Like 2.5 years or something, like, which is honestly for me personally, bro, like Messi is about to be like, what, 35, 36? Like, we got to do everything in our power to try and get that man to play over that contract. If it's even for another year and a half, something, because him starting with his contract starting now, bro, I mean, as great as Messi is, we have to almost call this season a loss already. We're that far behind. I mean, we've played like, 17 games, we have 15 points, like some ridiculous stuff like that. But obviously, Messi being as great as he is, bro, that's already a game changer there in the team. So I feel like, once we build a mobile enough team around him to do that, the heavy lifting and dirty work that you have to do in MLS, because Messi is no slouch at the end of the day. You feel me? That's one thing I say I would always admire about his game is that, he always puts effort forth, but at the end of the day, 35 is still 35. So, you have to have those powerful legs around him, especially in the midfield, to have it ticking. But, I would say it's like my optimism is not a high level, seeing as almost like the blank canvas we do have just because of the track record of what's been happening at the club. Like, there's nothing to give me faith that, okay, yes, this is about to be the rebuild that we need, that's about to, it's about to go down. Like, it's literally I got to see it, I got to see it to believe it type vibe with what's going on, you know what I mean? But I mean, obviously, when you sign one of the greatest players, arguably the greatest to a lot of people to ever play the sport, like, it's hard for you not to go up a couple levels, just off of his aura alone. You know what I mean? Like I would imagine, especially a lot of the young guys we have grew up watching this guy. I mean, who didn't? I did. I'm sure all of us here did grow up watching this guy. Being amazed by him. So, hey, hopefully that stardust just rubs off on us, man. Because to say we need it is an understatement, bro.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully the stardust can rub off on us, but also the Phil Neville curse can also leave us at the same time, because that shit is still here, but we're still feeling it. You know what I'm saying? We're still watching the game. We're still watching the pointless crosses. It's just terrible. It's just terrible right now watching this team play. And it's largely because of that influence that Neville had. But hopefully, we're gonna have Tata Martino come in and hopefully change the culture of the squad. You know what I'm saying? But Callie, AD, anything you want to add real quick?
Javon, you're one of my favorite people to tailgate with, man.
I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that.
If you guys are Miami locals and make it out to a game, you need to come hang out with us in the Green Lot, because especially our man Javon, he brings the vibes, man.
I just wanted to say that I feel like slightly embarrassed having Messi and friends come into the kind of squad we have right now. It's like when I don't know, you invite a friend to take them home, and they get in your car and you've got like mad textbooks and an old gym bag in the front, and you got spaghetti in the seat, and you're like, just move that stuff over. And they're like, well, bro, what are we doing here? Like, I don't know. It just, I don't even know who's the spaghetti in the seat right now.
So my concern, I guess my I don't know if it's the concern's the right word, but with Messi coming, there's two things I'm kind of that are in my mind. So one, people are going to be really disappointed when Messi gets here and the team doesn't just start beating the crap out of everybody, because Messi here or not, and also Busquets getting started soon too, who's in the conversation, one of the best CDMs ever. They're going to come in here and everything's just going to be fixed. Where we still have 4 starters who played a lot of minutes out for the year, between Grigore, Moda, Negri, and Coco, and people are gonna be upset, man. I think the attack's gonna be a lot better, obviously, but everything else is still gonna be kind of bad, man. And then 2, something that I was thinking about. So Messi's gonna be sharing a field with guys like Benja Kramashi, David Ruiz, Noah Allen. Like, these are kids, bro. Like, these are 18, 19-year-olds that are on the pitch playing. Do you think it's going to take, they're going to be a little starstruck playing with this guy? Like, training next to him. Like, do you, in my mind, that's going to take some adjusting. Because it's one thing like Joseph and guys that have kind of, and like Miller and some Sergey that have kind of played at high levels. They've won in MLS, or they've won in Europe. It's gonna take a little bit for some of these young guys, especially the young guys, to adapt to playing with someone of that caliber. And it's going to take patience from Messi. It's going to take patience from Tata and Busquets. And these guys kind of all start to blend together. I think people too often assume that Messi's just going to be a plug and play and all our problems are gone. And that's just not going to be the case.
Yeah, I think I'm probably most excited, assuming that everything is kind of in place. I think I'm more excited. I mean, obviously I'm excited about Messi and Busquets coming, right? But I think having a proven coach, right, a proven manager on the sidelines that has an identifiable tactics, right, and just an identifiable style of play. Because you're right, you can't just drop Messi and just let him cook, right? I mean, there has to be some type of guidance, there has to be some type of direction. I think Tata is gonna bring that. Also he might help Joseph kind of come back to life, right? Considering their time in Atlanta. So it's exciting times ahead, but I think Javon is kind of the perfect example of a everyday Inter Miami supporter who's just frustrated and fed up with all of the bullshit surrounding this team. So Javon, we'll let you have the last word, and then of course we got to get back to this podcast. So you got the last word, bro.
Most definitely, man. Again, like I would say, before I even get my last word in, I gotta send a shout out to all three of you guys, man. You know what I mean? Ever since really just popping up at this whole Inter Miami stuff, you know what I mean? I've got y'all showing me nothing but love at Black Herons, and it's been, and the Siege as well, of course. And it's been a vibe for real. Like, we could say this: the tailgate is what makes even supporting the team to this day still worth it. Because like without that, it would have been pointless. It would have been like one of those abusive relationships that you know is not good for you, but you just never leave. Where it's like, and the underlying point that if I'm supposed to leave here with just that's the one thing. Like Inter Miami has to make this relationship worth it. Like, I'm not saying, like, Jermaine got jokes earlier, right? Because he's right. I'm not used to, artificially bought success. You know what I mean? We got to be on the grind to try and get it. So I'm not even saying, okay, I need you guys to come out and win MLS every year and we want the treble and this. No, we're realistic. But something realistically to expect as a hard-working, paying consumer of this product is to have a product that's worthwhile. Is to have a product that doesn't go out and get beat 4-0 or 4-1 every other week. That doesn't go out there and gets played off the park. That a product that does that give us a little pride at least. Like, you don't have to win every game. You'd have to play the best every game. But give us fans something. Give us fans something. Like, how many times have we literally been in the stadium and it's like leaving at halftime would be fine. It would be as if you stayed the whole game. Cause it's just nothing. It was just not worth it. And literally, like I said, Inter Miami can have the good energy of the people who come to thank for their club still, even, because it's a joke at this point. And I will say this, right? I don't think, like, Mas, I've met him a few times too, I've actually spoken to him because, he seems like a man of the people, he's come to fan events, stuff like that, spoken to fans, and I will say, he does genuinely seem like one of those owners who cares and love the sport. Like, it doesn't seem, I made my joke earlier, there's a money laundering scheme, but it genuinely doesn't feel like, okay, this is something he's just trying to do to get money or notoriety and stuff like that. It feels like he actually likes the sport. So I feel like, as with anybody, any big shot with money, he probably came into the whole MLS thing a bit over his head, not necessarily knowing what to expect, and he kind of got sucker punched like, oh, okay, this is what this is. Especially MLS not being a free market league where you can kind of just go out and spend normally like how normal leagues are with so much, GAM, TAM, RAM, JAM, all that stuff. He was kind of, a bit confused, not even really knowing what to do. And then you see us do ridiculous stuff like get ourselves into financial issues because we wanted to offer Blaise Matuidi, a man whose name will never be uttered ever again after this. But we're trying to get him on our squad for some reason. So we're just going to be like, hey, you know what? We're going to ruin our future for the next couple of years to try and get these guys. I feel like those days are over. They should be over. So now, without the sanctions, getting Messi, getting back what should be roster flexibility, now, getting Tata in, because that's another underrated aspect of the whole scenario, because, your coach is like your brain trust, bro. You know what I mean? And it's like they say, if your mind isn't right, your body can't be right, and anything you do can't be right. You know what I mean? So, even bigger than getting in Messi is that new appointment as head coach. He can come in and implement a style to weed out all of the bad stuff that the squad has learned. You know what I mean? But this has to be it, because a club cannot be stable, chopping and changing and turning things every season or every other season or anything like that. So irregardless of what happens throughout this Messi, like, yeah, we're getting the relevance, we're getting the clout, you know what I mean? We're gonna get the money, the jersey sales, all that is cool. But now is the time for them to lay solid foundations down for the future of the club, bro. You know what I mean? I'd love to see us go in and get, yeah, like the Messi and Friends is cool. Like I seen a headline the other day where it's like the Real Housewives of Inter Miami, and so I see that somewhere, like, you know, because, you know, these guys' wives, they're like, all right, yeah, you know, this is where we want to be at. So it's like, all of that stuff is cool, bro. But I would really love to see us build a younger squad, bro, like for the future, like you know, like players of age. Identify players. First of all, we got to identify what identity we want to be, how we want to play, how we want to be ran as a club, first of all, and then target players. Yep. So, yeah. In closing, I guess I would say that's what it is, man. You know, my love for the sport, my love for the game, my love for the great people that I've met. You know, it keeps me coming back, but hopefully, on the field reasons, pretty soon can be something to keep me back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
for sure, man, for sure. Yeah, I got my Blaze Matuidi shirt is tucked away deep in my dresser. Boy, that thing ain't never. Who? That thing ain't never coming. That thing ain't never coming out, boy. Damn.
Hey, I promise you, man. Yeah. We might have to eject anybody we see wearing a Blaze Matuidi shirt, man. We can't speak on those guys no more, boy.
God, yo, it feels like a million years ago that he was on the club, bro. Like, just so much has happened since then. But anyways, yo, Javon, thank you so much, bro, for stopping by the podcast. Really appreciate you dropping some knowledge and dropping some thoughts on the nightmare that is Inter Miami. So appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, Javon.
Thank you again, man. I appreciate you, Jermaine, Kylie, AD. I thank you guys for having me on. It's awesome. You know what I mean? I love stuff like this, chopping it up about sports. I love sports, all sports, but football especially. And who knows, man? Hopefully, we do a part 2 of this where we're actually good. And, you know, we can come on here and say some positive stuff for a change. Because I don't think there's ever been a point in the club's history where I could speak positively of the club, bro. Like, I'm keeping it real with you.
Except for that Messi announcement. Like, that's it.
It's like, that's it.
Right.
So,
yeah, we'll definitely have you back on,
man,
bro.
I appreciate y'all, boys. All right, that's what's up, man. Anytime.
All right, cool. So thank you, Javon, for providing that nightmare segment about Inter Miami. Just wanted to, you know, give y'all a little taste of how we're feeling down here in South Florida about the club. You know, aside from, of course, the 2 recent acquisitions. Now, Callie, if you want to drop some news, you can drop some news on maybe on a potential 3rd acquisition. If not, we completely understand. If not, we completely understand. We don't want to get you in trouble, you see. If you have to think that hard, you probably should not be revealing this.
There is a potential player who can be signing very soon, who knows Messi pretty well, played in Spain, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
We'll just leave it at that. All right, so let's go on to the Dream Team segment, where we'll talk about or highlight some of the black goal scorers from Matchdays 20 and 21. Quickly, for Matchday 20, we had Dominique Badji for FC Cincinnati. Again, MLS veteran from Senegal, 2nd goal of the season, so we definitely want to see him get that tally up. Giassi Zardes, who we've talked about earlier. Again, he scored the 3rd goal of the match. Again, this is for Matchday 20. He scored the 3rd goal of the match for Austin. And it's his fifth goal of the season, right? It's his fifth goal of the season. So, and I believe it's his second match day. I believe he scored in match day 19 as well. So two match days in a row where he scored. So, shout out to Zardes for doing this thing in Austin. Seemed like he found a comfortable home there. Then we have Frank Boley. That's his fifth on the season for Boley. And listen, if you're not listening to this Dreaming of Freedom podcast, you are missing out on some very valuable information regarding your favorite MLS players. We told y'all about Nico, right? We told y'all about Nico Gioacchini last week or maybe a couple episodes ago, and he came through again in match days 19 and 20. Listen to this: 8 goals on the season and 5 goals in the last 7 matches, right? So this man is absolutely on fire right now, and maybe that's another snub, right? Maybe that's another all-star snub, right? I mean, he's holding it down, especially with there's one of their DPs in St. Louis has been struggling, or actually has been injured, right? And so Nico has stepped up and really provided a lot of the goals there. So shout out to Nico. As Callie said, right, like this guy just living this guy just living on our dream team list. So shout out to Gioacchini and St. Louis, right? Seem to be doing pretty good things this season. And for match day 20, finally, Kei Kamara wraps it up. Of course, we'll definitely talk about Kai in the Footnotes segment, right? So please stay tuned for that. For match day 21, again, quickly, we're just kind of going through them. We had DeAndre Kerr, who scored for Toronto, right? We talked about DK before, and like all the blackness, all the diasporicness that is Toronto, and really Canadian football in general. They're playing right now, and their squad is, again, consistently very black, right? So shout out to Canada, shout out to DK, young star on the rise, only 20 years old, right? 3rd goal of the season. So we're excited to see DK add to his goal tally. Another exciting player, Christian Dahome, who recently just came to DC United. So quickly, DC scored 3 goals against FC Cincinnati in the first half, right? Cincinnati is having a brilliant season in MLS right now. And for DC United to come out and do what they did, raised a lot of eyebrows, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, Callie, go ahead.
No. Just piggybacking on what you're saying. Cincy, that they were wooden spoon contenders for a minute there. Now they're probably the most potent attack in MLS right now, which is insane, the turnaround that they've had.
Absolutely. So Christian Dahome, Colombian international. Vancouver actually traded him to DC for nearly $500,000 in GAM. So it's his 2nd goal in 10 matches with DC. So let's keep an eye on Dahome, and dude celebrations, dude celebrations are nice. Okay,
we have to keep scoring just for that.
Bruh, just put on the dance moves, bro. All we wanted to see is the dance moves, bro. So so shout out to Dahome. Really seems to be solidifying himself in that DC attack alongside Christian Benteke. Then we have Evander from Portland, his 5th goal of the season, another banger. Again, we talked about Zardes, right? So he had back-to-back goals in match days 20 and 21. Again, 5th goal of the season, 2 goals in 2 matches. Buwanga, who made the All-Star team, plays for LAFC, scored his 11th goal of the season. And he's currently 2nd on the top scorer list for the current season. So his 11 goals is behind Hany Mukhtar's, who we'll definitely talk about coming up. And then finally, Montero with San Jose Earthquake. Shout out to Montero. It's his 1st goal of the season. He's a very clever attacking midfielder for San Jose. I believe he's coming from Montreal, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but Montero is a nice player. Very, very shifty, very crafty on the ball. Good balance, right? He knows how to keep his feet, and it's good. It's good to finally see him get on the goal scoring tally for
a Dutchman from Philadelphia.
Montero.
Yes.
Yeah,
and he's Dutch.
yeah.
And he's Dutch.
Right, and he represents Cape Verde, I believe.
Yep.
Right, but
internationally he played for Cape Verde, but he was born in the Netherlands in Rotterdam.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So shout out to the Netherlands. Shout out to Montero. Yeah, shout out to San Jose, right? Another team that seems to be finding itself in the Western Conference. All right, so that's the majority of our Dream Team roster for Matchdays 20 and 21. But we wanted to focus on 3 of them specifically. We wanted to focus on Bobby Wood. As you know, we've consistently talked about Bobby Wood on this podcast. So we'll talk about him a little bit. We'll also talk about Sam Adeniran, who had a brilliant game for St. Louis, and then we'll wrap it up with Hany Mukhtar, who didn't really have particularly special games in Matchdays 20 and 21, but had just a brilliant performance in Matchday 19, which we didn't cover yet. So we just got to show Mukhtar some love there. Okay, so quickly with Bobby Wood. Again, if you did not know this, Bobby Wood is a brother. Okay, so please, please show some respect to Bobby Wood out here. In the game, he had a goal and an assist. Right, cool, calm, and composed. Right, like the ball comes to him, he receives the cross from Emma Boateng, a Ghanaian brother. A Toronto defender tries to head it out, but it actually just lands at Bobby Wood's feet. Again, cool, calm, and composed. He gathers himself, finds the right shot, and just buries it from right inside the 18. Right, so it was a nice shot. And according to Footmob, he was player of the match, right? So, Bobby Wood it's just really, really refreshing to see Bobby Wood kind of find his goal scoring vibe back, right? It's his 7th goal on the season. A veteran for the U.S. men's national team, 30 years old. And I'll just say this, and maybe we can have a quick little conversation about it. I don't know how y'all feel about this. And it kind of relates to the MLS All-Star game too. Bobby Wood, okay, I think should have been chosen for the U.S. For this Gold Cup, right? For the U.S. team during this Gold Cup, and I think he should have replaced Jordan Morris. And I'm interested in what y'all had to say, because here are the numbers, right? Out of 45 caps for the U.S. men's national team, Bobby Wood has 13 goals. Right? For Jordan Morris, he has 53 caps for the national team and only 11 goals. Right? So what's going on there? Why is Jordan Morris getting the call up over Bobby Wood? What do y'all think?
Sir, that is a mystery to me. Bobby Wood, I think I called him a flying Hawaiian last episode that I was on, hasn't played for the U.S. Since 2018. Yeah, and so he scored more goals in fewer games when the team was worse, which I think is important to note. I know we're kind of staring at the golden generation of U.S. soccer right now, as some are calling it, but Jordan Morris is one who has grossly underperformed. And I think he's a good MLS player, and he's done well in the league, and I believe he deserves a lot of the accolades that he gets in terms of MLS. But on an international standpoint, you can't convince me that Jordan Morris has been super deserving to continuously get called up to the national team. I know they'll always try and give American MLS guys some sort of nod, some sort of spot on the team. But it's weird that you have a guy who has been a proven goal scorer for a long time, and who has been successful in the national team, just not getting the calls anymore. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, it is. I'm not sure what's going on. Eddie, what you got?
I'm gonna chalk it up to the fact that he's performing well in MLS right now. He's got 9 goals on the season, 2 assists, and Seattle's in 3rd place in the Western Conference. So I think they're banking on his good run of form in MLS. But as Callie was saying, his national team performances just don't translate. So whether he's a system guy in Seattle where he just fits perfectly there, and it works for him, and it just doesn't translate to the national team, or he just doesn't gel with the guys on the national team. Something's going on where when he puts on the white and blue, it's not there.
No, it's a great point. It's good. I mean, that both of y'all bring up, right? He has a relatively good MLS career, right? And that's probably what's given him the nod over Bobby Wood. But I mean, considering the season that Bobby Wood has had, I think it's fair to at least include him, and right. And I think this Gold Cup squad is like the B team, right? And so, I mean, could you make an argument that Bobby Wood, doesn't make the A team, right, for that Nations League roster? Sure, but for this Gold Cup roster, hey, why not give him the call up, right? Jordan Morris had a terrible game against Jamaica, right? He only played like 60 minutes, maybe less than that. So it really wasn't a good game, and you just wonder whether or not Bobby Wood would have had some better impact. Now, I personally don't give a damn about the U.S.'s performance. As you can see my jersey, I definitely was pretty upset about the result, considering we were up for 87 minutes. But that's whatever. That's a different story. So yeah, again, just shout out to Bobby Wood. He's really out here trying to do his thing with 7 goals on the season, and we hope to see him continue his goal scoring. His goal scoring prowess right throughout the rest of the season. All right. So next up we have Sam Adeniran. Callie, you want to take that?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So Sam Adeniran, I mean, what a cool story over the weekend. So born in Houston, Nigerian descent, scored the first 2 goals of his MLS career. All right. But that's not the cool part. The cool part is that he had 0 time training with the team. He was on loan to San Antonio in the USL Championship, and he got called up to the big boys, brought back, and just showed up right out the plane, and bro, banks him in. He had a header off of a corner, and then he scored the penalty. And man, it's for in terms of St. Louis. Well, before I even get into that, Sam Adeniran has had like a really, really interesting career. So most of his burn has come in the USL between Tacoma Defiance and San Antonio FC. And now between his time in Seattle and here in St. Louis, he's had 9 appearances in MLS and 8 on MLS Next Pro, but he finally got his 2 he finally got his goals. So he has 2 goals in 9 games in MLS appearances, but he played in Germany. All right, he's in the Niedersachsen, which is the 5th tier of German football. He also played for Regionalliga Nord, which is the 4th division as well in Germany. So I mean, dude's gone through it, man. Like going as far and as wide as he can to, chasing the dream. Finally got his chance here in stateside, and man, in the championship, he's been a baller in the USL. He's 57 appearances, 27 goals, 4 assists, 9 yellow cards, which is impressive. Very impressive for a forward. So, yeah, man, the future for St. Louis is bright. If you can have this guy with Nico up front, dude,
problems
for everybody else.
Word. Yeah, so let's keep an eye on Sam. And we just love these stories, right? We just love these stories. First 2 MLS goals, right, of his career, and it just as Callie said, it just comes off of kind of a crazy set of circumstances, right, where he just lands and next day he's on the pitch. So shout out to Sam. Again, shout out to Nico, who was out, catching some rest. But if those 2 can get some time together, man, like Callie said, that could be something fun to watch. So shout out to Sam with St. Louis. And I know a lot of the St. Louis faithful really were enjoying that starting lineup, right? There were a lot of changes to that starting lineup, but on the Twitters, everyone was like, "Wow, this is a brand new lineup." But they seem to do pretty well, right? Obviously, with Adeniran leading the pack, right? And so lastly, we'll end our dream team roster with, we probably should have talked about this man a long time ago, but Hany Mukhtar, obviously this dude has been, running through MLS ever since, Nashville came on the scene. And in Matchday 19, he just had an absolute world-class performance. Who scored a beautiful hat trick against St. Louis, actually, ironically enough. But his first goal came in the first half. Shout out to Shaq Moore, who fired a cross in from the right side. It takes a deflection. Between a St. Louis defender and a Nashville attacker. It takes a bounce in front of Mukhtar, who just delivers a beautiful half volley into the back of the net. So that was a beautiful first goal. And the hat trick was it gave you a little bit of everything, right? So his second goal was a penalty in the second half, which really only occurred because of Mukhtar's unselfish play. He received the ball in the final third down the right channel, and he could have taken a shot, but he laid it off for his teammate Schaffelberg, who got tackled by Kyle Hebert in the box. Hebert ends up with his second yellow, got the red. Mukhtar, of course, just steps up and calmly buries it for the lead. And then his third goal was not so much an individual goal, but a brilliant team goal, right? So, again, by this time, they're only playing against 10 men, but it was still very beautiful to kind of watch how they built the play up, right? So Hany actually starts the play from the center of the pitch, a simple pass to Alex Mule, who also had a really good game. But Mule plays the ball, smoothest through ball to Dax McCarty. First of all, shout out to Dax. That is a brilliant name in and of itself. But anyway, so Dax does a brilliant flick behind the back, which finds, again, Mukhtar, who's just following the play, right, being very persistent, staying with the play that he started, and just fires it past Berkey. Just brilliant stuff from Nashville as a team. And it was Mukhtar's second hat trick of the entire season, right? So we talked about Bouanga, who made the All-Star roster. Mukhtar, who also made the All-Star roster, is leading the goal-scoring tally in MLS with 13 goals on the season. Okay, so shout out to Mukhtar. One of these days, we'll do a quick footnotes on Hany Mukhtar, because he has a fascinating upbringing as well. He has roots in the motherland, right? His mom is Polish German, while his dad is of Sudanese descent. So we always gotta show love. Definitely show love to the continent whenever we can. And again, we'll talk about Hany Mukhtar. We'll dedicate a certain footnote segment for Hany Mukhtar in the coming episodes. Okay, so that wraps up our dream team segment. The nightmare segment was taken care of by Javon, our Inter Miami faithful. Javon, even though sometimes he's like, yo, fuck this team, yo, like I'm done with this shit. But so shout out to Javon for the nightmare segment. Also, AD, I'm still trying to figure out who the hell is the spaghetti in the car seat. Is it Pizarro? Is it Robbie Robinson? I'm trying to figure out who that is. I don't know. Man,
I'm not sure yet. When I see it, I'll point it out and I'll be like, spaghetti.
That is spaghetti. I feel like Pizarro is kind of probably up there for spaghetti.
He's a good spaghetti candidate.
A good spaghetti candidate.
I think he's a prime spaghetti candidate. Maybe that needs to be a new segment. Who's the spaghetti candidate this week?
And anybody who hasn't listened to the show
who's that orange stained Tupperware sitting in your passenger seat?
That orange stain is
it's there forever.
It's there forever, bro. It is.
It's tattooed on your Tupperware.
If you need to know how to get it out, I know how to get it out.
Oh no! What do you do? Dip it in battery acid? How do you get it out?
Oh no! You just. You add water. Forget it. I'll tell you off there.
Oh, now you're depriving the good listeners of Freedom of Freedom some,
You got to listen to it on the Patreon.
Hey,
Oh, damn.
come on now. That boy AD getting ahead of us. Goddamn.
Now we gotta do it.
Right now we gotta do it. Goddamn. Nah, it's all good. But so shout out to the spaghetti. Yo, maybe it's Phil Neville because that shit has yet to leave us, right? So
No, Phil Neville's like those water bottles that are like under your seat. That
you can't see until you're cleaning out the car. You're like,
yeah, like this is why my chair wasn't moving right because these motherfuckers were down here, fucking just getting in the way and shit.
Oh my god, yo, Phil. God bless him.
Hey, nice guy, man. Awesome dude.
Guy.
But get the fuck out of here, bro. Go watch your son play soccer, man.
Nice guy, but just get the hell out of here.
go enjoy Canada, bro. Go enjoy that free healthcare. Go get them.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I'm not mad at that either. But anyways, right. Well, all right, cool. So that is our Dream Team segment, and then we will, of course, we have a final footnote segment where we wanted to talk about the good brother Kei Kamara. So, AD, do you want to tackle this one?
I think so. Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, go for it.
Remember, I'm a casual, but let's try this. Okay, so Kei Kamara, 38 years old, been in the league since 2007. This brother has been in it. He's true to this, not new to this. I don't know. We haven't been giving him his flowers like we need to. But on Wednesday night, there you go. Give him his flowers. There you go. On Wednesday night, on June 21st, he recorded his 144th career MLS regular season goal in the 83rd minute versus Portland. He had a header volley into the net from the youngest player on the field, who was 19 years old. Crossed it over to him, and he headed it in, and he's the oldest player on the field, so it's a generation to generation connection. I got that from MLS.com. Don't get at me for plagiarism.
Next time, don't even say that, bro, because I'm like, damn, AD, that is some bars right there, bro.
Anyway, but he had his most prolific year, obviously in 2015, when he was playing for Columbus Crew, one of the teams he played most for. He also played a long stint in Kansas City, Sporting Kansas City. So in 2015, he had a 22 goal regular season, and he also had 4 tournament goals as well. He plays for Sierra Leone, where he's from, and he is often seen documented going back to his home country to either play soccer in the streets with the local kids or donate to communities in his hometown. He was donating a 40-foot container of sports goods to a town in Cambia in Sierra Leone. So this man doesn't forget where he's from, but we just got to give him his flowers, and that's why he's in the footnotes today.
Nah, absolutely. Kei Kamara is just 38 years old, still out here producing, right? Producing goals. I think he's like the only player to score for 10 clubs, right? Is that right? I think it's like 10 MLS clubs. So
yep, 10.
Yep. So dude is definitely out here. I love the part that you brought in about his Sierra Leonean roots, and the ways in which he's still giving back. A 40-foot container, bro. That's not a small container. That's a lot of materials, bro. Damn, we showed up to Little Hany FC with a couple balls in our hands.
Couple balls in the trunk.
And this man comes out with a 40-foot. We tried. Shout out to Little Hany FC. But this man
Shout out to Kei Kamara's donation fund called Heart Shaped Hands for his celly.
Let's get it. So, yeah, definitely, shout out to Kei Kamara. He's, and again, this is kind of one of those storylines that we have to watch for the rest of the season, right? He's on 144. As AD said, Landon Donovan has the 145, which puts him at second. So, hey, if he can get 2 more goals, that'd be beautiful to watch him, overtake.
Plenty of time to
Donovan.
do it too.
Oh yeah, plenty of time to do it. And I think I read somewhere that he wants to play until he's 40. So I think
he's got to knock out like 27 goals to tie Wondolowski for most of MLS.
Exactly. And the last thing I want to mention about that 100 goal list is that there are 13 players on the 100 goal club, right, for MLS. And just to be clear, this is 100 regular season goals. Big shout out to Jossie Zardes, who actually joined the club earlier this season. And just quickly, we have Chris Wondolowski, Landon Donovan, Kei Kamara in third, Jeff Cunningham in fourth, Jamie Moreno, BWP, Antti Razov,
yeah.
Jason Christ, shout out to Jason Christ, who has a little bit of, who used to have some Inter Miami connections. Dwayne, formerly, right? Dwayne De Rosario, Joseph Martinez, Zardes, Taylor Twellman, and Edson Buttle. And out of those 13, if we are counting Joseph as a brother, which I think
that one's up for debate.
That one's up for debate. Maybe we can have him on the show one time and he can settle it for us. But let's call it 6 or 7, right? 6 or 7 players on that list are black players, right? That's Edson Buttle, Zardes, De Rosario, BWP, Jeff Cunningham, and Kei Kamara. And if we count your boy Joseph, then that'll put us at 7. So, about half of that list, right, are black players, right? So just, I think that's a good place to end in terms of the importance of this list, the importance of black players to MLS history, right? This is a very exclusive club, and to see that black players occupy so many spots in that club is really a testament. It's really a testament to their careers, but also to black soccer in MLS in general. All right. So that's it for us. We don't have anything else. Tomorrow, there's some obviously the Gold Cup's going on, so make sure you're checking in with those matches. Make sure you're checking in with the different MLS players that have gotten the call up. Tomorrow, I believe Jamaica plays again against Trinidad and Tobago. So, shout out to all my Yachties. And shout out to Damian Lowe, right? We talked about him at the beginning. Had a shaky game, more or less, during the U.S. game. So, playing on a yellow card for the majority of the match, but he also had the goal, right? So, shout out to Damian Lowe.
But that's when he's most alive. On that yellow, riding that high.
Yo, it's the Damian Lowe way, right? It's the only way he knows how to play, and you're right. AD, you're actually spot on, bro. Like, that is exactly when he is at his best, when he's just playing on the edge. It gives us a near heart attack, but that man seems to thrive under it. So shout out to Damian Lowe, a friend of Black Herons. Been showing us love since we started, since his days with Inter Miami. So make sure you're checking out those Gold Cup matches. Of course, make sure you're keeping up with NWSL. And in one of these upcoming episodes, we'll definitely talk more about the Women's World Cup coming up in about a month, right? Next month. So, a lot of good footy going on right now. All those tweets that are like, what am I gonna do until NFL starts? It's like, yo, you got a lot of good footy on right now. So. Stay tuned for everything that's coming up. Stay tuned with the Dreaming of Freedom podcast. Make sure you're subscribing and liking. Follow us on YouTube, Twitter. We got Freedom Dreams at Freedom Dreams BH. The Instagram is Dreaming of Freedom Pod at Dreaming of Freedom Pod. I think it is, right? And then follow us, Black Herons, UTD, both on Twitter and Instagram. So, Callie, AD, anything else?
Nah, man. A lot of exciting stuff on the horizon in terms of Inter Miami news. So just remember I mentioned that a certain Spanish player may be signing pretty imminently. So
let's get it.
Keep it locked to Cali's Twitter.
I'm at Cali44. Shameless plug.
Come on.
Oh, also, like on Twitter, we're almost at that 300 mark. So give us that follow, man. Like we're almost there.
Absolutely.
Show some love.
Yeah. What are we at? We're at 291, guys. Come on, 90 you. I'm sure aren't following you on Twitter. Following us on Twitter. Get it going.
Let's get it. Let's get it. And of course, don't just follow us, but follow everyone at the 2 Cents FC family, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said,
can I add one more thing? Very sorry.
Absolutely.
I don't want this episode to end without mentioning this. Our girls, especially at Shea Butter FC, are trying to get to the World Cup. All right, let's get. If you go and follow their Twitter, they have a fundraiser going. They're joined up with Diaspora United. All right, I am going to. Yeah, they are at Shea Butter FC, just like it sounds. At Shea Butter FC. All right, whatever you can do to help. If there are more hardworking women covering the women's game, if there are any working harder than Silves and Sky, I don't want to meet them. I feel bad for them because these ladies work hard. They deserve all the praise they receive. They are the best in the game doing it. So go in, help if you can.
Absolutely. Big shout out to Shea Butter. All right. So with that, we are signing off. Thank y'all for joining us and catch y'all next time. Peace.
Later.
Spaghetti gang.